region, and I am proud to be a daughter from Bakem village in a Umojok subdivision. Are you proud of your origins? Are you sure you are proud of your origin? If you are proud, say, I am proud. I am proud. Are we proud to be Cameroonians? Yes. Cameroon is very rich in history, rich in tradition, and rich in values. Our culture is our identity. It tells us who we are, where we come from, and what we stand for. But in this changing world of ours, where the world is becoming a global village, our children are disconnected. Our children are disconnected. It is our duty to preserve our culture and pass it over to the next generation. Because our culture is the foundation of our values. It teaches us to respect our older elders. It teaches us about solidarity in our families. It teaches us about unity in our families. And it gives us some moral values. In Africa, we don't have cousins. In Africa, we don't have aunties. In Africa, we don't have uncles. In Africa, we don't have nephews. The sister of my mother is my mother. The brother of my father is my father. The daughter of my aunt is my sister. And the son of my uncle is my brother. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today with a burden on my heart. A heavy burden on my heart. Why? Because we are losing our culture. We are losing our identity. And let me ask you a question. What happens to a tree without roots? What happens to a tree without roots? It withers. It dies. And that is what happens to a people who abandons their culture. So we must teach our culture to our children. We must teach our children our history. We must teach them our tradition. If not, we will wake up one day and realize that we have raised a generation with no identity. A generation that does not have pride for itself. A generation that does not know where it belongs. God forbid. Our children, that will not happen to our children. We must teach our children our culture. If not, who will do it for us? I remember my grandmother, a woman of valor, a woman of grace, a woman of dignity and wisdom. My grandmother was wise. Every night she would gather us beside the fireplace and tell us stories. Stories that make us laugh. Stories that make us cry. Stories that teach us values. Stories that make us become who we are today. And she used to tell me, my daughter, Aib Machanga Tomba Akitan, meaning a river that forgets its source will surely run dry. As a child, I did not understand what she was saying. But now I know she was telling me, you must not forget your roots. You must not forget where you come from. Look at our children today. They can speak English fluently. French, they will speak it excellently. And what about their mother tongue? They will babble. They will struggle. Who is to blame? You and I. Ask them about the history of America. They will tell you who founded America. Ask them about the history of France. They will tell you who founded France. Ask them about the sea road to India. They will tell you. But if you ask them the origin of your village, can they tell you? Who is to blame? You and I. When you put Western music, come and see how they're shaking their waists. La petite, come and see. They'll dance until. But when you start hitting the talking drum, they'll say, Mommy, what's that? Who is to blame? You and I. So that is why we must teach our children our culture. Because if we don't do that, nobody will do it for us. It is our responsibility to teach our children our culture. If not, our children will have no foundation. And that will be dangerous for us. Nelson Mandela said, education is the most important weapon we can use to change the world. When I ask you, what is education without our culture? The education we are learning about the white man's culture. What is knowledge without an identity? Do you want to identify with the white man? They will reject you. The white man will reject you. Yes, it is good to teach mathematics and science to our children. Very important. But when we educate our children without giving them an identity, without telling them their roots, it's like we are giving them wings without wisdom. Today I challenge you. Somebody say challenge accepted. Challenge accepted. Challenge accepted. Speak the dialect with your children back at home. Tell them stories of your ancestors. Teach them your African values. Values of respect for elders. Values for solidarity. Values to unity in the family, and hard work. Those are the values that we need to teach them. Teach them to dance their traditional music like they are dancing here, and teach them to dress in their traditional attire with pride, just as I am proudly dressed as a Mani woman. Let them dress proudly in their traditional attire without shame. Because some of them, when you wear them, their traditional attire, they get ashamed. So teach them that wearing your traditional attire is pride. It teaches you where you come from and where you know where you are going to. So, shall we rise and take the challenge? Can we take the challenge? So that we will give our children a solid foundation. We'll tell them where they come from, and that will make them very proud of themselves. So when they go out, they will conquer the world. Because what Ngugi wa Thiong'o says, the tree goes out in conquest of the sun by holding firm to Mother Earth. When the tree does not have roots, the wind that blows, the least wind will just carry it. So let us not allow our children grow without our culture. Because a people without a culture is like a river without water. It is useless. It is empty. It is lifeless. So our children should not grow empty. Our children should not be lifeless. They should be solid. Let their foundation be solid. So that when we teach our children our culture, we give them a solid foundation. We make them proud of themselves, and that will enable them to grow, and Kangoro will grow